had the pleasure as a young kid growing up about 3.8 miles here from Town Hall, just over the line in Franklin. And I remember as a young kid with family here in Medway that it was a small town and the services reflected the town and the population size that was there. I'm Town Manager Michael Boynton, and today we're experiencing something that our predecessors experienced some 35 and 40 years ago, where the growth of the town and the changing dynamics of the town necessitated new buildings and renovation of space. We're essentially doing the same thing. It's not the same place that it was 50 years ago when you could roll over and hear the fire whistles from the West Medway station at 9 p.m. It's a more robust community, it's an active community, but the good news is that it has maintained that feel of that small town, suburban New England character. We intend to try to keep that character as we continue to move forward, but the reality of where we are today demands that we must look at the changes that have happened and the changes that we project here as a community, not just for the next 5 years, not for the next 10 years, but for the next 5 decades, for the next quarter plus half more, let's call it a century. We have changes that have to happen. In recent years, we conducted a $250,000 facility study on all of the buildings here in the town of Medway. And there were 3 buildings that were identified as immediate issues: the police station, the fire station, and our town hall. Those buildings were then identified as part of a feasibility study 2 years ago, where we looked at the site that we acquired at 120 Main Street, the former Medway block property. And we looked at what options and possibilities could occur to meet today's needs.
Hello, my name is Tim Harris. I'm the chair of the Facilities Assessment Committee here in Medway. We were chaired as a committee to analyze the existing buildings in town, in particular the police department, the fire department, the town hall, as well as the school departments, and do an assessment of all the existing buildings. After that, we engaged with the user groups. Each one we engaged in a bunch of meetings and in reviews of the buildings. The buildings were built and designed over 35 years ago. And at that time, Medway was a different type of community. There was far less people in town. We didn't have a full-time fire department. The police department was probably 1/3 of the staff it is today. A lot of the different systems and technologies has come about over the past 3 or 4 decades as well. So to keep up with those systems, they've been doing the best they can with the resources they have, and it's time to make some improvements to each one of the buildings.
Thinking about the fire station. The fire station that we have today was built in 1990. It was built to replace the old wooden station at the corner of Franklin and Main Street. And it was built with things that today were not even thinkable back then. Full-time staffing wasn't a thought. Females in the fire service definitely wasn't going to happen. A ladder truck, we weren't even going to need a ladder truck. So a building was built to accommodate the needs of the town in a very active call fire department in that day, that today is so very different and does not meet the operational needs and standards and safety requirements of not only our community, but the safety and well-being of the people that we ask to protect us every day, our firefighter paramedics.
We had a part-time force when the building was built. I remember the bells were ringing, and people would get in their cars and trucks and deal with the issues. It's changed a lot since then. We have a much larger workforce. The sleeping accommodations aren't what they need to be. The storage is not what it needs to be. The apparatus has changed over the years, so they really need a larger facility. And most importantly, it really should be more centered to the town from a call standpoint, which is another critical factor that we looked at as well.
Our police station, also built in 1990. And again, the police station was in fact the Taj Mahal compared to what folks had here in the downstairs of this town hall building. That's where the police station relocated from in 1980. They didn't have the camera systems, the computer systems, the need for prisoner monitoring, the evidence storage needs that we have today.
The building looks great on the outside, and and when you walk through the building, it's well maintained. However, they're busting at the seams. The staffing has increased, as I mentioned earlier, probably by 2 to 3 times from when it was built.
The requirements that are passed down, not just from the state, but from federal expectation for law enforcement in the 21st century. That's where we are today. We have incredible leadership in both police and fire departments that can take us to those great places, but we need the resources and the facilities to make that happen. And Town Hall. The building that I'm sitting in right now was constructed, let's call it 100 years ago. Can't tell you the exact date because it was a little bit before my time, but this building has far outlived its useful life. This building functions today, make no mistake, we still get the job done.
Town Hall is a beautiful, beautiful old building. There's this is similar to the police and fire. I think it served its purpose over the years, and at this point, with the status of the facade, the roof, the heating and air conditioning systems, they're just simply not keeping up with where a building should be for the way it is.
But we have to have multiple services in multiple buildings. We have DPW operations inside the middle school. We have IT services existing beyond the borders of this building, beyond the walls of this building. We have a building that has been modified through the years that was never built to meet the needs of a community in 2024 and looking at 2025 and 2050 and beyond. We have many needs as a community to be able to meet those needs. It is important for us as a municipal government to provide our staff and our community with those tools.
When we did all our interviews with each one of the departments, is with the town growth continuing to happen consistently, there was a lull where it kind of flattened off for a short period of time, but it consistently has been growing over the years. When we looked at where we're going to be 5 years from now, where we're going to be 10, 15 years from now.
Add to this the fact that a few years ago, the town of Medway completed its master plan. And in that master plan, the residents themselves identified the 109 strip, Main Street, along where our plaza is today, as the future downtown of this town. A place where folks can walk to, a place where folks can go and meet and congregate and have a meal and do the business of the day. The town hall, along with our public safety complex on that 8-acre site at Medway Block, makes all the sense in the world.
So I think the advantage to a central location where you can have a combined, town facilities unit for police, fire, and town hall will absolutely be beneficial from a cost standpoint during construction, as well as overall over the course of the lifespan of the building. When you think about it, you have everything on one, have all your facilities on one site. You can share on the maintenance costs. You can share on the operational costs, whether it be gas or electric or whatever it may be in the utilities. So and then certainly from a efficiency on a day-to-day basis, you have these larger rooms that can be shared. They're not sitting empty for 4 hours a day, for 4 hours a day, or for 4 days a week. There's always going to be someone using these spaces.
This proposal is actually one that is not simply put together by town staff. It's not simply town staff looking for new buildings, new office space, or the modern day luxuries. This is a proposal that is actually supported by and is actually developed by your neighbors.
Community members are all volunteers, and we put a lot of work in. I take my hat off to the team, and we did a lot of site reviews on Saturdays and off hours, and we had a lot of meetings. And it was not like a typical committee; it was more like an organic type of situation where we were throwing a lot of different ideas, with each of the buildings, for each of the buildings potentially.
Volunteers of the community who have come together with our various boards and committees have toured the facilities, have looked at the feasibility studies, have identified and analyzed the numbers, and believe that this is something that we can do today, we should do today. And what we will be asked to do in November is to fund the design of this new complex. A complex that you will hear as part of this proposal can and possibly can be funded by tax dollars without the need of an override. Let me say that again. We are looking at a new facility or series of facilities that possibly can be funded without the need of tax overrides. In 2024, that's nearly unheard of, but we have things in play that are and should happen that will give us that opportunity. What we need is your support.
There's a great opportunity for the town to continue to grow in a very, very strategic, planned manner and adapt to the change. And I think the fabric of the committee is still, the community is still very, very strong. The people who come here for common thing.
We have a lot of work to do, and we're just at the beginning stages. And as I said, we need your support. and we need your help. This is not simply about the people that work in those buildings. This is not simply about the people that work in our buildings today. This is about our residents, all 14,000 residents here in the town of Medway, with looking towards the future on making sure that we can serve the needs of this community in the most effective and efficient way possible. We need the resources, we need the tools, and we need the facilities. I thank you very much, and we ask you and hope you will enjoy the videos and ask you for your support.